Hi there, this is your friend Anna, and the question that I've been getting the most from all of my friends is what are we wearing? This age-old question isn't just about choosing an outfit, it's about choosing how we present ourselves to the world. I created the I Want Her Shoes podcast to dive deep into what it means to dress with intention, whether you're heading to a council meeting or just having a casual day out with your family. Join the conversation as we explore the power of personal style and the decisions that shape our public personas. Put on your favorite pair of shoes and step into my closet. Okay, welcome back to I Want Her Shoes podcast, where we sit down with powerhouse women redefining success on their own terms. I'm your host, Anna Annison. Today's guest is someone who embodies the kind of presence, purpose, and poise we're all craving more of. Meet Rhapsodi Jack, boy mom, certified career and leadership coach, and the visionary founder of HerKind, a private curated community for high-achieving women living in fast-paced cities who crave connection that runs deeper than networking. Can't wait to hear more about this. Mm-hmm. And with over 15 years of experience across corporate giants like Deloitte, hundreds of hours coaching leaders of color and personal mission rooted in authenticity and alignment, Rhapsodi is helping women clarify their core, reclaim their power, and lead without performing. And today we're diving into real talk behind career pivots, coaching with heart, and what it means to create spaces where ambition women, especially Black women, can feel truly poured into and heard. And before we dive into this, I would love to learn more about you, Rhapsodi, and what inspired you to create HerKind. But before that, how did you end up in Miami? And are you in Miami, or where did you come from? And how did you end up in this beautiful city?
No, good question. Thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure to be in this space. My background, I am not a native Miamian. I moved here 4 years ago during COVID. Like many people from no other place other than New York, I was in New York for about 10 years. No intention of moving or leaving, but COVID kind of just called us down to the warm weather. And
yes.
Our friend said, you guys should come down. And so my husband and I were like, it's cheaper to live in Miami for a year than in Brooklyn, which is where we were planning to move. And a year has turned into 4 years, and here we are.
Yay, well, cheers to that.
Cheers.
I'm so glad that you stayed and I got to meet you. Yeah, we met through like a mom's group. Hey Mama, that's no longer, but now we have other groups and you have a group, so it's really, exactly. And I think, even since you came here 4 years ago, communities have grown so much here. Yeah. Right? And I think it's much easier, like what I hear a lot of is that's much more, people are more approachable here than in New York, or like.
So much more.
Yeah, or even San Francisco, like the kind of places where a lot of people like have their communities and they're like, no, I don't want to be here.
No more new friends.
Yeah, we don't have time. Yeah, but here I think people are more kind of like, they're all new, so we're all kind of open. So I think that's what makes us very special. So now tell me about HerKind. And I know that it's a space that's just as stylish and intentional as the women in it. So let's dive right into that.
Yeah, so HerKind started when I moved to Miami. I think for me to understand HerKind, I have to think back to my years in New York, where when I was starting my career, I was really interested in just having friends over for dinner. And in a small New York apartment, that's a bit challenging. But I remember hosting dinners and little parties at our apartment, and I loved doing that. I was I'm very inspired by Martha Stewart and Oprah, and I was I always love bringing people together. I think maybe growing up in a military home, not being able to, just moving around a lot, you're you always have to recultivate community. And so moving to Miami, that's what I naturally did. I was hey, I don't know anybody here. And if my husband's if we stay, you got to find some friends. And I was well, I'm not, I started my business, I work at home. Where am I going to find friends? Miami's it's not easy to know where to tap in. And so I started a WhatsApp group in true Miami fashion for some of the ladies that I'd met that lived in Brickell. And 3 years later, it's over 1,500 women and people exchanging resources and ideas. And when people come to move here, they get plunged into the group.
I love that. No, I think that's a great idea. And I think, as I said, it's like makes everything much warmer and more welcoming here.
Yeah.
And you work across a lot of different spaces, corporate, coaching, and now community building. How did these experiences shape the aesthetic and energy of HerKind?
Yeah, so it's interesting because as I think about like my corporate life, that was like one aesthetic, it was one style living in New York, lots of black, and for me being in consulting, lots of clothes that were very functional and easy to pack. As I transitioned to my Miami lifestyle, more colors started to be introduced into my wardrobe, and I think that was the early days of HerKind, which was vibrant, light colors. And as we're moving into this kind of next phase, I think this also transitions to my own style, is like becoming a little bit more darker, a little bit more mature in our color choices, a little simplistic. And so that is kind of, I think my own style has informed the way that we show up in our branding and the way that, we curate spaces and the venues that we select for our events.
Love that. No, that's amazing. And many high-achieving women struggle with being seen beyond their roles. How can style and what we wear and how we present ourselves help women reclaim visibility on their own terms? I'm sure since you're a coach, probably this is something that comes up, right?
100%. And I coach a lot of women who identify as introverted leaders, neurodiverse leaders. So they're already dealing with being different, whether you can see the difference or not see the difference. And so they typically are coming to me for support being confident. Ultimately, they might not say it that way. And so one of the things that I work with my clients on is thinking about, and I think for myself too, as somebody who's also introverted, is how can you let your clothes speak for you before you open your mouth? So, instead of wearing the black blazer to the conference, why don't we add purple or orange or color?
Okay, you have to pull up what you brought to add to your black, because you were talking about this color and you're wearing all black.
I am wearing all black, but
that's a little hot here. So
she
took this off, but it's like a really beautiful, like Chanel kind of. It's a Chanel vest, right?
It's tweed. No, this is Derek Lim. But
it
looks
like
situation.
A Chanel vest. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Chanel.
Yeah, inspired. Yeah,
and green is like my new color.
Yeah, and that's like a pop you can add to any kind of black or white or anything.
Exactly.
Right?
So finding clothes that speak and that are statement pieces, but also that are authentic to you is really important. For me, it's like the fabric matters because I am like very sensitive to like what's on my skin, and so I can't. Some people can do fashion for fashion's sake and struggle with the beauty as pain. That is not me.
No, I think when I was younger, it was more to be done. Now, if I order something and then I'm like, no, we're not doing this. No, at Coachella, I got some crazy stuff and then I tried it. I'm like, no, like I'm not going to struggle for one photo.
Right, it's not worth it. Maybe that's something that comes with age, motherhood, I don't know. But finding a piece that will speak for you when you enter the room, and even like a statement piece that like, if you can get a conversation started off of what you're wearing, it's always a win.
Yes, no, 1000% agreed. Yeah. And you talk about distinctive power. Yeah. What does that look like in a woman's presence and also her outfit?
Yeah, okay, so distinctive power is really this idea that I coined around helping people think about their strengths or the things that they find maybe that come easily to them, that maybe they undervalued about themselves, but is really in the context of the environment that they're in, is something unique about them that they can take ownership of. So it's kind of like playing to your strengths, but really thinking about, for example, like I'm somebody who's really good at pattern recognition, and maybe that doesn't seem like a great task or strength, but that's a distinctive power that I have. So when I walk into a room, I can like suss out what's going on. I'm like an investigator. I'm like all of these patterns, and it tells a story. And so that's what it looks like kind of in a coaching capacity. In style, I think it's the same thing. It's thinking about knowing what you look good in. It's looking and picking pieces that maybe have a story to them. Right. Like right now, I'm very much into tweeds, and like I love a colorful, which is maybe a statement. Like, why are you wearing a tweed?
Well, inside it's okay. Outside it's a struggle. Yeah, but we do it.
I love a sweater still. The one thing I haven't let go of from New York is the layers, the sweaters. It just tells a more
exactly.
And so I still wear them even in 80-degree weather.
Nice. I love that. Yeah. And HerKind's events are not just intimate, they're very elegant, and you kind of talked a little bit about that in the beginning. Why does atmosphere really matter when trying to build in trust and connection?
Yeah, so atmosphere is everything. We actually just launched our private membership experience called Curator through our HerKind community, and the environment makes all the difference in the experiences that guests have. It also kind of informs, I think interior design and fashion are so closely connected. And so it's like being in an experience, and you want to align your fashion, your style with the environment that you're in, and it transforms how you feel, how you show up. And so, you know, we were in a space yesterday in a speakeasy in Brickell, and, you know, it was moody, it was red velvet curtains and rope, and, you know, and so like it changes how you show up for yourself and for other people, and it really elevates the experience if you pick the right venue.
Yeah, no, agreed. And what role has fashion or personal style played in your own evolution, especially as you stepped into more public leadership and also after becoming a mom?
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that definitely changes a little bit about, like we talked about, you're probably not going to like go with really complex like fabrics or styles.
Oh, no, yeah, 100%. I mean, my style, I mean, you know, all of our seasons of life, we have different style. Like I said, my corporate career was more function, over form, you know, the materials that didn't wrinkle in the suitcase that I could pull out because I just needed to, or the block heel that was super comfortable. Moving to Miami, again, the fabric matters. I learned very early on. I had to retire the black, except for, you know, the black is coming back, but I've had to retire the black. As a mom, like the way your body changes, you know, early postpartum days, I was optimizing for access to key parts of my body for breastfeeding. So it was like the button-down shirt, pockets, those things are really optimized. Now that I'm thankfully beyond the breastfeeding days, it's just like the simple things like dresses, again, fabrics, a good pair of jeans, a good t-shirt that you can style up with like shoes and accessories, but like you don't have to think too much about.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's just simple pieces, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
And especially in our climate, it's hot. You have to like really optimize for like wet linen and like cotton. Like
things that breathe.
Yeah, definitely even I mean, I like silks and things like that, but or like it's hot and I keep it very sweaty.
Yes.
So but, and what's an outfit, if there is any outfit that you could think of that you wore that made you feel completely in your power, and one that you would never wear again?
The second one's a little bit hard. I was like really trying to think about that. Well, what I would always wear again is a power suit.
Right.
I think they're like super in right now, especially like the bold colors. There's nothing better than a really well tailored pantsuit with a good structured blazer and a really fun color or fabric. So anytime I can wear a power suit, I love the opportunity.
Love that.
Especially with like a platform heel, like a wide leg pant. I don't know, nothing feels better.
Yeah. No, I like that. And I think for not wearing it again, I think that's a hard one because sometimes you like, why would you wear it in the first place if you're not going to wear it again?
That's true. I mean, there's sometimes I think, you know, I think about like things that are just too tight. You know, clothes where you're like, I can make this work for the night, and you're so uncomfortable. I like to our earlier point, if it doesn't feel good when you try it on, just let it go.
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
wear it. It's not worth feeling uncomfortable all night long.
Yeah, no, for me, it's like a lot of Rent the Runway kind of. I don't use it anymore just because of that, because like sometimes that's all you have when you're traveling, and then you're like forced to wear that.
Yes, you're like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about coaching.
Okay.
How do you coach women who feel they have to perform a version of success that doesn't really fit into like their work style or just in their life?
I mean, that's kind of what I do all day. So I'm always talking to people who, you know, they're looking for another way to approach life and their work. And typically, you know, it always starts for me with the values. So I do typically at the start of a coaching engagement, I do an assessment with my clients to understand what are their values, motivations, and preferences, because that's the inside. Those are the things, those are the engines that drive you. And if you know what your values are, you know what you prefer, you know what motivates you, you can then start steering your life, your career, your job, the way you show up at your work that aligns with that. And that is going to keep you showing up every single day. So if you are somebody that's really motivated by aesthetics, and you're working in a very sterile, bland environment, that's likely not going to sustain you from a success perspective, right? And so you need to have spaces where you can show up as aesthetically as is meaningful for you. If money is important, like, and you are not getting paid, you might need to change, because that is not going to be able to sustain your value system.
And so many people don't speak up about that. I feel like that's also very important, because I think like if you don't say anything, then it's either no or it's going to be the same as it is now, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, you're going to get what you ask for, you know. If you don't, closed mouths don't get fed. So you do have to ask, and that can be really challenging. But I think for women who are thinking about, like, this doesn't feel right for me, typically they're not tapping into listening to themselves, like their values, the things that they're good at, and doing those things. They might be trying to force themselves into a box that's really not for them.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. No, it seems like, it's definitely, and that actually leads into my next question. For women listening who are craving kind of both clarity, style, and like good balance in their life, like, where do you really begin if you're kind of just, let's say you just have like 2 little kids, and you just have, you have a job and you have a marriage, you have everything. So like, how do you really begin if you don't really have a lot of time to like really devote to yourself, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the phase of life I'm in now, and I can't undervalue the amount of like need for help in this season.
Right.
It's something that we don't always talk about, but I think where you can outsource the things that are not bringing you joy, get the groceries delivered, get the extra babysitter, even if it's like for like 3 hours on the weekend so that you can do a facial, or you can order some clothes online, or whatever it is that you need to do to feel like yourself. Like, you can't pour from an empty cup, and that's very cliche, but like, as moms and employees and wives, I think we give ourselves whatever monicum is left, versus having and coming from a place of like extra, like we're pouring out the extra onto our families and friends and employers, employees, etc., and instead of giving ourselves like the drops at the end.
So we definitely, it sounds like you are a great coach, and I think a lot of women could definitely use a coach to kind of realign with their life and stuff, and But, well, now let's get to the fun part of these beautiful shoes that you brought with you.
Yeah, I'm super excited to share these shoes. So these shoes are Bridget's. Bridget is a Jamaican designer, and all of her shoes are made out of 100% genuine leather, and these are super worn because these are one of my favorite pairs of shoes.
Yeah, well, they should be. That's what like they should be worn. And for those of you who are not watching on YouTube, these are what would you call, like, they're like flip flops, but they're more like, they're way more fancy. They're
kind of just like an open sandal, like a Roman sandal.
A Roman sandal with like a floral, like really handmade, beautiful floral and clover almost. Like I said, it reminds me like a Michelin star. Yeah. So what is the story behind these wonderful, beautiful shoes?
So these shoes reminded me of a couple things. So my dad is from Jamaica, and I didn't grow up there. They immigrated to the US. And when I was in college, I met a really great friend who's from Kingston. And she always had these most fabulous sandals, whether they were Giuseppe's, they were just always sandals that were this style. Open, very minimal, but really elegant and beautiful, and they went with everything. And I grew up in the South, and so, typically people at that point were wearing like rainbow sandals or Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
Like they were not super cute. And I was like, these are always so feminine, so elegant. And so I always told her, hey, when you go back to Kingston, get me a pair of Bridget's, because you can only get them there. She doesn't sell them online. You have to physically go get these shoes.
Still.
So if you ever see anyone with these sandals, it means that they were in Kingston. Typically they were Jamaican. And so I got these shoes, actually she gifted them to me for her wedding.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, so it was like such a sweet gift. So every time I wear them, I think of her, I think of our friendship, I think about Jamaica. She got married in Jamaica, so it was just this full story. And now that I live in Miami,
it's closer.
It's so much closer. There's so many Caribbeans here, and I wear these, when I wear these, I can wear them with anything. Probably not super far because they're not very stable, but they remind me of kind of grounding. Have you ever grounded, where you just like put your feet on the grass? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the closest I'm going to get to not wearing shoes.
Yeah, they're super, exactly.
They're like so minimalistic. And you're just basically like, your feet are on the ground. And so I wear these when I'm like super comfortable. They're just like, they feel like home.
Love that. No, that's a beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing.
Sure.
And now let's do this quick round of this or that.
Okay.
Executive coaching or fireside circle?
Ooh, executive coaching.
Yes. Structured blazer or flowy caftan?
Structured blazer.
Yes. Boardroom feedback session or girls trip salon talk?
Girls trip salon talk.
Yay. Vision board or strategic plan?
Ooh, it's hard. I'm like both.
Yeah, you could say both.
Definitely.
Quiet luxury or statement piece?
Statement piece.
Yes. I don't even know. I mean, I feel like it's kind of, what is quiet luxury?
Exactly.
Like,
I don't know. That's why I was like, I don't know what that is. So,
well, I feel like it's kind of something that people made up because they don't know what it is.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
but if you know, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So
then you have it.
It's a statement piece.
Yeah.
If you know what it is.
Exactly. Yep. Calendar alert or intuitive nudge?
Intuitive nudge.
Yep. NYC rooftop dinner or Paris wellness retreat? Paris, that would be cool.
That would be cool.
I
I was
know.
like, where would we do this? I've got to stay loyal to New York. New York
That's fun.
rooftop.
Yeah. Bold lipstick or fresh face glow?
Bold lip.
Yep. Baby bag or power tote?
Ooh, power tote.
Yep. Baby bags you can't really put a lot into.
No. And yeah, who needs a baby bag?
Yeah. Team retreat or solo sabbatical?
Solo sabbatical.
Yes, I love that too.
Yeah.
Rhapsodi, thank you for showing us that ambition and softness don't have to compete, and that high-achieving women deserve spaces that nourish us, not just stretch us. And you're not just helping women pivot in their careers, you're helping them realign their lives, which is really amazing. And thank you so much for doing that work. And from HerKind to your coaching practice, your work is a masterclass in clarity, community, and care. And to our listeners, if you've ever felt like the strong one, the driven one, the one who always shows up, this episode is your reminder that you deserve to be seen, supported, and celebrated too, like you said, right? Make time for yourself because that's what makes you a happier person.
Mm-hmm.
And until next time, remember, the most powerful thing you could wear is alignment. Well, cheers. It was so much
Cheers.
fun.
Thank you.
Yay.